All rise for the Ravens verdict. Court is now in session. And welcome back, everybody, to the Ravens verdict with your host. I am Candy Sewall Waller. I am here with the amazing Darrell Owens. We are from Bowie TV, and we are partnered with the amazing folks at Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia, Baltimore Ravens flock. I hope you are ready for another episode of the Ravens verdict. Darrell, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Fresh off of two back-to-back weeks of OTA, got a chance to kind of see some things, see some good things, and see some players improve over the last 2 weeks. See the energy at camp, loving that right now. There's a love fest going on in Baltimore, people.
Okay, well, hey, no better way than to go ahead and start on that, continuing the love fest, shall we, Darrell, and get into the docket itself. What is on the agenda today? So we have four cases, and we're going to keep the same format as before. Case number one: how do championship teams build chemistry? Case number two: how much influence should Lamar have on the offense? Case number three: what can we actually learn from OTAs? And then case number four: have the stadium renovations change Baltimore's NFL event potential? So we might as well go ahead and get right into it. Darrell, how do championship teams build chemistry? First case on the docket. Let's get right on into it with your opening statement.
It's as simple as this. Championship teams build chemistry right now. It's early on in the stages, and people are trying to, the players are trying to get themselves, together. Everybody's trying to learn each other. All the new players, the rookies coming in. In this situation for the Ravens, you got new coaches all around. Some new, some old at the same time because Mentor and Weaver were there before. So it's all just trying to get all this to gel together as one. And so once you once you can build that chemistry together, the sky's the limit. And so, it's showing up at practices every day. It's giving the hustle every day. It's just being a part of knowing that this is bigger than just you. That's the mentality you have to take if you're the Ravens or any team that's trying to build a championship. And like I said, early on so far, the vibes coming out of camp says that they've got the right energy for this. The players love, from what I like I said, this is just off of 2 weeks of what I've seen. The players have nothing but high praise for their coaches. Mentor's getting a lot of love from what I can hear from the players. Lamar said some kind things about him. Said the first thing he sees when he comes in the building is this man smiling. He said it just brings him joy to see coach smiling when he comes into the building. So that was something that I really took away from it. And then, of course, it seems like the offensive players are really pumped up about Declan Doyle. There were some things said today that made me really laugh. Coach Weaver said something that was really, really cool. He was just like, hey, man, he was asked about Declan, and he was just like, the dude is a human computer. He said, just the way he's out there figuring plays and drawing stuff up, the man's a human computer. So it's like you can tell they all just had big smiles in their faces. This is the first step on how you build team chemistry. It's all right now in OTAs. It's going to be a mandatory mini camp and then in the training camp. So that's how you build a championship.
So I'm going to continue on with what you're saying with my opening statement as well. One of the words that we continuously hear is about culture. And I know that there's always been a lot of, Coach Harbaugh, 18 years, there's staffers there. Of course, people that's the only coach they know.
Yeah.
Literally. There's from the front office to the players to some of the equipment that literally the only coach they know. So this is different for everybody. So leaning in on that culture, understanding what it means to play like a Raven, and just still having that overall just high standard of all the great things that they do from top to bottom in that organization and what they are known for in building that overall team chemistry. We know that they've got a lot of great things, as they always have, going on with the Baltimore Ravens organization, but it ultimately comes down to what happens on the field on game day. We can go right into deliberations, and
Oh yeah.
I think that Darrell had asked a question to Lamar Jackson just last week about building that team chemistry.
How do you go about, new year, new players? How do you go about building team chemistry with the new players? As that thing's coming?
Man, just being yourself. God, I believe our team, we don't want fake guys around, just trying to be someone you're not. I'm always be myself, and I feel like guys gravitate towards that a lot. And, just speaking up for guys and doing what's best for them.
So, Darrell, what did you think about that response at that moment, based on what you experienced and what you saw from practice that day, then hearing Lamar's response to your question? What did you think?
I generally saw everything that he was saying. He's like, hey, it's pretty much it's me. I got to be myself. And what I saw there, at least the last 2 weeks, is that he's out there being himself. And like I said, I keep screaming energy. I said it earlier, with some other people. It's all about the energy of this team, and him bringing that energy every day at camp. You follow your leaders, and he's bringing that as a leader right now. He's bringing that energy, and so that's what I took from it. I took that, from seeing what he was talking about, and then seeing him actually do that out on the field. It's a beautiful thing to see right now. So he's doing a really good job of being the great leader he is. You can see players gravitating towards him, and kind of, he's not shying away from people or anything like that. He's not trying to be a diva. You can see him actually trying to build chemistry with his teammates, and it's a really nice thing to see.
Darrell, listen, I might think that maybe the verdict is already in, because I love what you just said. You follow your leaders, right? So let's go ahead and jump to that. And hey, QB1 has spoken on what he plans to do to build that team chemistry with the new guys and continuing it as well. We know that even Coach Mentor has talked about players like Kyle Hamilton being one of the leaders of the offseason, and others there as well. So what is your verdict? Final verdict from you, Darrell.
My verdict is, this is the makings of a potential championship team. I know that you probably hear this all the time, but it starts here. If you want to build that, that chemistry towards a championship team, it starts here. And the energy that I've seen in these first 2 weeks says that. So the verdict is in on me. I feel like they're on the path. Younger coaches, I try not to throw shots at Harbaugh, but you can tell that with Declan being the same age as Coach Doyle, being the same age as Lamar, and Lamar said, "Hey, I still call him coach." He's the same age, but I still call him coach. So I think they have a chemistry there, and it's a respect factor. So that's one thing that I caught right off the bat. Same age doesn't make a difference. If you know the knowledge, you're bringing it in. And that's what I saw that's what I've been seeing, like, pretty much all around. You can see the respect that Coach Weaver's getting there. Coach Levine, same dream on the special teams. Just a lot of goodness going on there. So the verdict is in on me. For me, this team has championship potential. Like, it feels really good right now. It's still got time to go, but it feels good right now.
Well, my verdict is in. I totally agree with Darrell. The only other thing I would add is how they, this is the start of it. This is how you build that chemistry, getting to know one another, getting to the basics in the foundation, in the nucleus of what it means to play like a Raven. Like we've been talking about offline, M&T Bank needs to be a place where people don't want to play.
Yeah, most
they
definitely.
Need to be afraid to play. Right? They already come up to call Baltimore, be more careful. Okay. They don't want to be up in there. All right. So get back to that. But it all starts exactly what you were saying, Darrell. I think the verdict is in on that. And hey, Ravens flock, Darrell is seeing some great things out there, seeing all of the energy that you all have even picked up on, and looking at Darrell's great content on Bowie TV from these practices. You're seeing some things that even some of you all mentioned you had not seen before, in terms of Lamar building that chemistry and relationship with offensive coordinator Declan Doyle, which takes us into case number 2. How much influence should Lamar have on the offense? So it was definitely some conversations around that. And we can go ahead. I'll kick off this opening statement. I would say my opening statement on this is this. Lamar is 9 years in, but he reminded everybody quickly. What did he say, Darrell? He's not an uncle.
I'm not an uncle.
Yeah.
My man said he was defending that offer quite a bit. Man, I'm not an uncle, man. I'm only 29. So they were trying to call my man an uncle. He did not like that at all.
Right. So with the influence should he have on the offense comes not an uncle yet, but he absolutely has experience. And he's been working with. So I think that as much as a collaborative effort this can be for Declan and Lamar, and maybe even other members of the offense, could be something very, very positive for the Baltimore Ravens. So, Darrell, I will turn it over to you for your opening statement.
My opening statement on this is simple. I mean, I think Lamar should have a lot of influence on this offense. And if you look over the years, they've kind of brought people in to try to help either tailor Lamar's game, make him more of a pocket passer, or, maybe slow off on the running game, or when the Roman was there, it was all about the run. Monken was trying to, mix it up a little bit, give him both. But I think it's all about what Lamar's comfortability is. Like, if Lamar's not comfortable with what they're doing offensively, this train does not run. So it is very important that he have influence. Now, I'm not going to say that, Coach Doyle doesn't say anything, but I think the fact that they're both already kind of, fusing together here and putting their brains together here and working together is a very big thing, very big step, for them right off the bat. So, yeah, for me, I think he needs to have big influence on this offense because Lamar knows what he sees out there. He's the captain of the ship. He needs to have a ton of influence on this offense.
So that leads us right on into the next part of this Ravens flock. As you all know, it is deliberations time. And during the deliberations, we come up with information that we have from being on site, on the ground, and in the room at Baltimore Ravens OTAs. We'll go ahead and get into some of the clips because we love bringing proof from being there, right? So let's go ahead and get into some of the clips on when Lamar was asked about Offensive Coordinator Declan Doyle.
What does that mean to you to have your voice and your fingerprints on that aspect of it? Obviously, you know what you do on the field, but just that aspect of things. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot because I feel like I should know what coach is thinking when he's calling certain players on the field. So it should make my job a lot easier.
Lamar, what's it been like working with Declan Doyle so far? And is it weird, or do you notice the fact that you guys are like the same age?
Yeah, I already know. But his title is coach, so I'm gonna still call him coach. But it's cool, man, because like I just said, him seeing things on film and when he calling certain plays, I'm knowing what he's thinking within the play call. So it's just making my job a lot easier, and it's awesome. It's awesome to have.
And we have another clip here, more from Lamar on Declan Doyle.
I'm sure you have meetings with quarterbacks in the offense, but have you had much time one-on-one with Coach Doyle about the offense and the vision of what it's going to look like this fall?
Actually, I did. I had quite a few conversations with Coach Doyle. Great conversations, man. He wants me involved a lot. Coach Jesse. That's why I believe Coach Jesse brought him along, and I'm having fun with it. All of us having fun with the new system and what he sees on the field and from what he sees on film. So it's great. It's great.
All right, Darrell. See, this is what happens when you're on site, on the ground, and in the room. Okay,
I'm just saying.
You're coming, and that's what happens in court. You have to get your evidence right.
Gotta make sure everything is rocking and rolling there. I'm not trying to be held in contempt here. I want to make sure everything is on point.
Exactly. So with that being said, listen, I know I kicked this one off, right? Case number 2 with the opening statement, but I think the verdict is already in. We already know that even now in OTAs that Lamar Jackson has been working right there with Offensive Coordinator Declan Doyle. Declan wants him involved. He wants him to have say. He wants him. And he even, in that clip, one of the clips, Lamar sharing, he wants to be able to understand the why and when coach is calling a play, what's going on there. So that builds that communication, that chemistry that we were just talking about in case number one. So the verdict is in. Lamar needs to be all in right there with offensive coordinator Declan Doyle on what's happening and what's going on with this offense. Darrell?
Yeah, look, if you can tell just by the way he's talking about him, like about both coaches, I just need you to understand that about both coaches, you can tell that there's a different vibe here. Once again, I'm not throwing bones at Coach Harbaugh, legend, but there's something different about this team just based off of what I'm seeing so far. Like I said, I know it's early, people. Don't beat me up for this. But what I'm seeing and the energy that I'm seeing out there is completely different. And they're saying great things about each other, but you can definitely tell that they are truly working together to figure this out. And the whole time that Lamar was talking about it, like you could tell he didn't want to give up too much, but he's smiling because he knows what they're going to do. And all I've been hearing is the man, Coach Weaver said it today. I said it earlier. The man is a human computer. He said that Coach Doyle is going to make that defense so much better because it's going to keep them on their toes. So it's just what they're kind of building is just a beautiful thing. And I'm loving it. So yes, for me, Lamar should have all the influence possible, but it looks like they're fusing together and working well together to make it happen.
Baltimore Ravens flock, are you getting excited yet?
Are
you getting excited yet? Well, already chimed in. You should be. You should be. This is all good things. But this leads us into case number 3. And that is, what can we actually learn from OTAs? We continue to say it, right? It's still early. It's just June. It's just OTAs. But what can you actually learn from the OTA period? Darrell, over to you for your opening statement.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it as a theme that we've been doing in this show, and it really is about chemistry. I think we can learn if this team can kind of build the chemistry they need to build now. That's going to last between now and for Ravens fans, though, for the flock all the way into Super Bowl week. That's what they want to see. And so I think right now, if anything, it gives you a chance to just build the friendships, build that that chemistry that's going to be needed on the field. If I'm especially in your offensive line, the defensive line, being able to check things, making sure that everybody's in their right place. It's just all of that together. So for me, I think the biggest thing we can learn from this is chemistry. Can they build the chemistry now that's going to last them throughout the season? That's going to be important. These relationships that they build right now are going to help carry them all the way through. And they need to know that if somebody is down, that person can be picked up by the other person. If this person is not doing well, they can help this person out. Like all of that has to kind of come together. So for me, it still is all about all about chemistry. Chemistry is the biggest thing for me. What I feel like we can learn from OTAs and building a good foundation for this team.
Definitely. And then with my opening statement, kind of taking it, just another angle along with that chemistry is really just getting to know some of the terms.
Yeah.
How are you calling the plays? Are they the same name? Obviously they're not, you guys, because it's a different coaching staff. but what is, just understanding some of the, terminology, lingo, cadence, overall tempo, energy, all of those things. You're not really getting into schemes at this point, right? In OTAs, but to your point, as you continue, the chemistry piece of it, but then taking that, in my opinion, another thread to that is just understanding the language, the actual textbook, playbook, how you want to start to term things, what do you want to call it? And that can kind of lead us right into deliberations. And Darrell, you have been at practice. I've done an OTA. You've now done 2 of them. You'll continue to do those. So share a bit more, if you will. What have you been seeing when you're looking at the various position groups out there?
All right, so I'll give you a couple of things. I feel like that this receiver group, I know I hopped on a little bit last week, but I think the receiver group is going to be a really good group. I know a lot of people are hoping that maybe a Tyreek Hill comes in or Stephon Diggs, but I really think they got to get the young guns a chance. And a young guy that you really have to pay attention to is Mr. Weber at receiver. Webster. So Mr. Webster he had a couple of plays today where he made some great plays across the middle and then just broke loose. I mean, he used his speed to really take off. And I'm like, man, if they can find ways to get him open, he's going to be a problem in open space. And once again, Surratt is the one I keep building my brain on the receiver side, because when I look at him, all I think about is Mike Evans. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because he's wearing 13. I don't know. As the build, it's something about him that gives me a Mike Evans vibe. He looks like he can be a good blocking receiver. We're going to see all of that. But the other big thing for me is on the defensive side. I feel like that the defensive line is really kind of stepping the things up. You can see Hendrickson has really been a nice piece of that puzzle and really, helping train the guys along. Like I saw him earlier today, really helping out with Zion Young and making some good things happen there. And so you can see him just really stamping putting his stamp on that defensive line. So those are two of the position groups that I really have been paying a lot of attention to and liking what I'm seeing from.
When I was out there, I continued to talk about the running backs. I did a lot of talking about the running backs in the episode one, I feel like. And so that was still like a group. But going back to the pass rush, I know you and I kind of talked offline about Trey Hendrickson, Tavius Robinson, Mike Green. We talked about that group, and also talk about team building chemistry, the defensive backs. Right now, the one day I was there, Kyle Hamilton didn't participate in OTAs, but he was there, right? Yeah. He was there. So he was still active. You saw him watching, talking with his teammates, all of that. Of course, that offensive line is always going to be something. And what's happening in the trenches, offensive line and defensive line, of just what's happening there. But all of it, Darrell, kind of leads back to what you were saying around chemistry. And how they're building those things. And so we can go right into the verdict being in. Darrell, what is your verdict?
I think my verdict at the moment is just one, the chemistry has to keep rolling, which like I said, that's going to be the theme of this episode is chemistry. I mean, but what I like so far is I think that, maybe a lot of people are not really paying attention to the defense at the moment. And I think that the defense is going to surprise a lot of people. It's that thing that Coach Weaver said when he was just like, hey, look, he said Doyle is like a human computer. He's going to be really helpful to this defense because of the different mixes and different things that they're able to do. So for me, I think that we just got to keep building the chemistry, keep making things, keeping the energy on the right foot. I think as long as those things are happening, for me, I think that that's all they need to really propel themselves, beyond OTAs going into training camp.
And we can also say and just add in there, even we know we're talking about what we can learn from OTAs, but that building now will definitely help in training camp when they got to do joint practice against the Minnesota Vikings and the Washington Commanders. So we will definitely be absolutely locked in for both of those, which now, if you all have been paying attention to the Baltimore Ravens site, if you all have been locked in, and hopefully you are subscribed and following Bowie TV on YouTube and all fronts. If you're located in Prince George's County, Maryland, we are on television, Comcast channels 190, 1097. If you are tuning in through our partners, Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia, you know where to find them because it's in the name. So we were able to attend the stadium renovation tour. This has been a 3-phase effort over the last 3 years, and a lot of just overall effort has gone into an upgrade of M&T Bank Stadium. These renovations are slated to be done by preseason. That's right. This preseason, they're ready to go, and they're ready to see you all in the bank this season with all of these new upgrades, bells and whistles. You all can catch all of the updates and everything that they're doing on Bowie TV. That content is there for you all to sink your teeth into. But we can go ahead and get into my opening statement on the final case of this episode, which have the stadium renovations changed Baltimore's NFL event potential, meaning draft coming to Baltimore, Super Bowl coming to Baltimore, as a host. But we all know Ravens flock, but you do want to win one, yes. But also as a host, as an actual destination now for the NFL. In the opening statement, I'll jump right in there from having attended this stadium renovation tour. I think yes. I absolutely think yes. Of course, we know that these events, the draft and the Super Bowl, are planned out years in advance. We have locations for the rest of the 2020. We know where they're going. But I think there's still an opportunity for the Baltimore Ravens to be the host, M&T Bank Stadium to be the host of some major NFL events. They said they listen to their fans, they listen to season ticket holders, and this is a place where it's really all encompassing of the fan experience, truly. So I'll pause there. Darrell, do you have thoughts, any opening statements on case number 4?
For me, the more and more I look at it, I think they're gonna get an NFL draft, and the renovations that they've made to kind of set themselves up for this NFL draft at some point is right on point. I think they did a really good job. They got two things in their favor. They got the Baltimore Orioles Stadium right there beside them, so they got plenty of space. There's a lot to do in Baltimore. there's a ton to do in Baltimore. You can go to the harbor. So they got a lot of things that they can kind of do to make this work. But just for the stadium front itself, I think they've done a lot of really good things to kind of pull people in or pull the NFL in and say, hey, you can bring the NFL draft here. Now, the Super Bowl, on the other hand, might be that the draft may come first to see if they can handle a Super Bowl, because we've seen over the last 5 to 10 years of how the draft switched from New York and become more of a NFL team on site thing. Each year the numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger, and what it does show is if that city can handle the mass capacity of a big NFL event. And so the Ravens, I think, will get the draft, and that will be hopefully the thing that they need to see if they can one day host the Super Bowl, maybe play in that Super Bowl as well. But I think that the NFL draft is probably the one that would happen first out of anything.
Listen, and we can go ahead and jump to the verdict being in on case number 4 with the stadium renovations, Baltimore's NFL event potential. I can tell you, I think so. I think so. People, don't sleep on Baltimore. I know I made a joke earlier about be more careful, but that's in terms of game day. All right. It does need to still be that way on game day. I'm just going to say it. But, it's a destination. It could be a destination. We know that many conferences, conventions, and all of those things happen there. But with them really making an effort of listening to the fan base, understanding what is important, they've increased the bathroom size. Listen, I had a whole conversation with them about the bathrooms. Okay, because here's the thing. You need. Listen, a bad bathroom experience can ruin your whole day. Like, it really can. If you got to wait too long, if it's something, it's not right. And so, cleanliness will be a thing too. But we talked about that. And they have all weather event spaces. And it was, rain, sleet, snow, beautiful day. Again, it all is ultimately about what is happening on the field. Yes, 1000%. But this could be a main attraction. Darrell, what is your verdict?
I think my verdict is in, and I'm going to say definitely a main attraction. The culture of Baltimore alone is going to definitely entice the NFL to want to come there. One of the seafood capitals of the world. There's just so much you can do there. And like I said, the culture alone, I think, will help the NFL kind of come to that conclusion. It's a sports town. It's a legit sports town. that sometimes I think gets overlooked when it shouldn't. And I think that if they get this draft, especially after Pittsburgh got the draft, they really want the draft because they want to show up. They want to show up Pittsburgh really bad. And so if they can get the draft here in the next couple of years, I think that it will do everything it needs to help, propel Baltimore in the NFL event rankings.
So listen, you all, we are at the end of the episode. So we're going to get into our closing arguments now and wrapping this up. Darrell, what is your closing argument for episode 2 of the Ravens verdict?
Look, we can screen chemistry. We talked about it. We talked about Lamar and what he should mean to that offense. We talked about the defense and the growth that we've seen there. The rookies are doing well. My closing argument is this. Ravens fans, I know I'm throwing a lot of hype out there, and I know you're probably like, well, this guy's don't know what he's talking about. Look, I'm telling you, give it time. It may not all come when you want it, but it'll be there right on time. And I got a really good feeling about this team and the energy that they bring. I'm ecstatic, or I should say excited, to really see what Coach Doyle has tuned up for Lamar and the crew. Like, I am really excited. Zay Flowers was just gushing, when he talked at the podium. He was just like, look, Coach got us running fast. We got us moving. He's ready. They're excited about the speed of this offense. And if they're excited, then Raven Flock, I believe you should be excited as well.
Listen, that's a closing argument right there. What am I supposed to say? I rest my case. It's nothing else further, Your Honor. Oh, I am Your Honor, so nothing else further to say.
We got to get a gavel. That's going to be the next move.
Because you could do a mic drop, but since this is the Ravens verdict, it's a courtroom atmosphere. We have to get a gavel.
Yeah, got to get a gavel and purple robes. They were like, they could think we're a church choir.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, Darrell, your amazing expertise and insight from what you have seen from last week to this week at Baltimore Ravens OTAs has been phenomenal. We love it. Keep that coming. You all stay locked in with Bowie TV for your Baltimore Ravens coverage. Unique, comprehensive. We are on site, on the ground, and in the room. And we will be back next week for another episode of the Ravens verdict. Make sure you all stay tuned and stay locked in with Bowie TV and our partners, Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. We'll see you next time.